He smiles, cheese on his linen, and black folks are still struggling, we're still struggling, while you're still suffering
Kiss ass, neighbor. Are you a kiss ass?
that around the table and they'll start saying, this is the that is the most black president that we have ever had. Oh, praise the Lord. We thank the Lord for massive Trump. And that's the reason. That is the oh, and I got mad at the rest of you, bro. I got mad at the rest of you, bro. Oh, y'all just sat there and y'all just said, oh, damn. He just sweet. He was great. Black hope. Oh, Jesus. He was wrong. He was wrong. He ever been on wrong.
I don't know these folks. I don't know these folks. It's private. It's private. Private. Proprietary information.
So,
Take my
focus Negro, voluntary Negro. What were you cheering Trump on for? Okay? Yeah, what were you cheering on for? What has Trump said about Eric Garner in New York City? What about the slain body of Michael Brown in Ferguson? What about the life of Churxh Rice in Ohio and so many others in America? Are you cheering his law and order dog whistle calls that encourage over policing, stopping and frisking and underserving our community?
preach.
You do know, Pastor, that this attorney general also has
Dignitaries,
to lead
clergy,
the war on
politicians.
drugs, which is really
Like
a war on black and brown communities. Yeah, what you on in the meeting with us, he separated brown children from their parents, and parents are still looking for their children, and children are looking for their parents. Did you even hit your mind that with all of the FEMA camps that have been set up all over this country, that there may be a master plan to put black folk in
I'm about tired of the crackers. Bonita. D-Day, Hispanic or Latina. Irish, Italiano, whatever. Your village called, they want their idiots black. Black by popular demand.
And then come back to the black folks and say anything gonna be all right. We shall overcome. Oh, yeah, we shall That's the message that we want to give to black America. Well, Mr. President.
Oh, what's up?
Yeah. I really have to compete. Yeah. What do you mean? Where's that from? You got problems with where's Jamal Brown? There's pastors in this country that have the basis from the White House. So there are some real issues that are going on in black America all across this country. The unity as pastors, nothing.
All I wanna do is have a good time.
Well
Slow
done.
it down.
Sing.
Hey, just roll it up.
Just like you
No
said,
matter who's that
in
party, somebody's leaving with me.
you're living good.
Let's
And
party
maybe
up.
wrong with living good
All
is
I
the
wanna
rest
do
of the
is have a
things
good
living
time.
good.
Let's
You
get going
ain't
down.
how you're supposed to be a Christian being taught how to have a
Ear
nice
hustlers
attitude.
galore. Talking about church
But the
hustlers.
Negro teacher in America, you're making this thing that is called church obsolete because you've given them an obsolete church. You want to think that the gospel, which means good news, that the only good news is that you can die and you can go to heaven. Oh, you can walk the streets of gold and the capital of gold in their pocket. Oh, 12 gates to the city, hallelujah. And they can't go into the gates that they have in house at home because they feel that somebody's going to break in, they're going to rob them, they're going to be burglarized. When is the black church and when is the black preacher going to wake up and understand that there is some things that are going on in this country that we need to discuss.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And here's a big
Just
big
stop.
thing
Just
here.
stop.
So we shouldn't have told somebody to cash out me some money in between paychecks to work and then to get food for my kids. Didn't nobody tell you to lay your ass down and have all them damn babies? Let me get your begging ass off the stage. That's what Trump is looking for you to do, and the biggest and the white supremacists in this country want you to do, black woman. They want you to beg. They want you to want the ED and the card, the even better the day card. And then you get your ass on social media and you begging folks to give you some. Get up off your ass and go to work. That's what my message is this up and coming Sunday morning at the Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministry. You need to be that. But the message is get up off your ass and do for yourself. That's going to be Sunday morning's message. Y'all still need to make that thing bigger than that. I can't read it. I'm looking at the money. That's the message on Sunday morning. Get up off your ass and do for yourself. Wait, we're going to talk about that from the Bible. Jesus told a man who had been waiting by the pool all them years for the getting the water and the angel going to trouble the water. He had an excuse. Come on, tell me about what somebody else had done, and he couldn't get into the water. And Jesus told him, rise, pick up your bed, and what? Sunday morning, get up off your ass and do for yourself. You need to join me on Sunday morning at the Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministry. I see all you women on Facebook with 99 and a half babies. Y'all cash out with somebody sitting there. No, go find the daddy baby. Go find that nigga, that broke ass nigga, you lay your ass down with you, open your legs up, open your mouth, whatever you did that you open up and you got pregnant. Go and find him. Okay, that's the one that you're doing. And I keep telling y'all, quit giving good crucial to a man that ain't done a good job. We're going to take a commercial break, and then when we come back, I'm going to deal with church hustling here on the Fabulous Matthew Show.
I get to call on the phone, what's happening? People chilling with bitches, drinking silver sacks. Here them bitches on deck. On deck to the full. Got to stop a gang that I know just to pull them. No West Coast blowing on the top half bar. I'm maxing with my dog from the daddy high. Is that the name motherfucker that they call for block? Spelling at the hospital some gins. Now I found myself. Nowhere I smoke. Yeah, what do you know? Open up the door. Let me see See some of the hoes just come around, and I'm like, the fuck, nigga, fuck. I'm hitting hoes like I'm hitting licks, but that electric bitch, the bitches getting niggas dick sick. I don't pay rent, because I flip hoes like a second. On and on it goes. I fuck you motherfuckers for you, and now,
How do you feel about having that kid for the future about track for the kid for saying his job? Like, I think the motherfucker needs to do his job. You know, the concept. Because he's water too, is that ice cream?
I like to thank that girl from way back in the day. This is work for you. I wouldn't catch this way.
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Let the next generation act
we're in commercial. I'm not talking about get off my face, bullshit. You was still the subject, but get your ass off the face.
435-6161. 901-435-6161. Have all your gospel concerts, have all your big meetings, all your...
I ain't gonna talk about no more. Elena Jones, let me deal with my stuff. Okay, I'll leave none of y'all tell me. I'll need to talk about it. If you want to talk about something, get your own show. If you have time, it's going down back to zero. It's going down back to I'll do the body right. If you have time, it's going down back to a sweet special lady, I know that everywhere we go, we all bring attention to me. You gotta be a special lady, let's go. I know, I love the way you make me feel. Ooh, baby, I'll make you weary. Let's go. Just your first day with Joe. Girl, I never ever want you to leave. Hey, I see a movie. Let's go. I know we can make another movie. Oh, baby, no more. I know. Churxh dog, fucking looking all the views in the states and so on, looking good. You just go get the movie. You got all the views that they ain't today, and you got the if you have a time, it's going down like the love I'm trying to give. It's better than I say. They say you're a hell of a woman. The way you stole my heart. I ain't looking to bed. You walk down that room real silly. Last week, if you have time, it's going down like the really back after this. Is there somebody advertising on my YouTube? People watching it there. Because we sign in and take our ass off. Deny it. Get the bitch off my motherfucking page. If you have time,
Anything in the store is green mattresses. You feel? It's such on the YouTube channel. Located at 2790
They can come closer and close. Original.
Welcome back to the Very Good Man Show. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm speaking with the radio station, and they've asked me to come to Milwaukee. And they're looking like maybe
Me and Nate Dogg is a match. Strike two, leave him standing still in the track. Strike three, leave a call 2-1. It's the L and the B that makes me act like a G.
My exhibition started back in 93. But when nobody listened to me more than me. So all the unbelievers never could get sick. Nobody does it better than me. They can come closer and close. Original, they never could be. You went from coast to coast. Trying to make you see. Nobody does it better.
There you go.
There's no accident. It's class. Make the shit up. Banging in your club. Hanging with you. Giving up cheap love.
Back on the east side. Those niggas used to look around. We didn't care what we did.
The message is, keep us
Times are different now, but you still be stuck. Now you know, I just don't give a fuck.
Yes, sir.
on the radio show this morning,
Nobody does it better than me.
when I started laughing after the day, because what I was hearing was a whole lot of niceties.
Make it say go down. I've been in this
music on all 40 years.
It starts
So I understand what I can't do.
You can't keep me out, but you
And there are some words that you can't say.
Nobody does it better than me. They
And
can come close and
I
close.
need to say to you, there are some
We
words
don't be from coast to
that
coast.
you cannot say. I try not
We just
to
try to make
say
you
that.
see.
Once about
Nobody does it better.
couple guys is trying to apologize and saying that black folk are here. I think about what are we doing? Why we got to keep on waiting? But I just with because I'm tired of a function that is happening in pulpits all across this country. You know that? Well, since is the only thing about you that you can cuss? No, I said, I want to say, nigga, please. You don't even know what you're dealing with when you start dealing with me. Because Athletic Truth Liberation and Comedy Ministry that starts here in Memphis, Tennessee. I'll give you a staff. None whatsoever. I don't get a love offering. Damn, I don't even get a call.
Like you did every day.
Okay? I invest, probably about $5,000 or $6,000 of my money from my business enterprise into Memphis each and every month. I've got a van that in the wintertime we take blankets to go into the street out there. We had food trucks. I had job fairs. And the only thing about job fairs is don't nobody want to work. So I ain't believe this one time when I did 3 job fairs. And I was talking to a guy today with a job fair. He said, you can have all the job fairs you want, but a large percentage of folks don't want no job. They'll fill out the application to pacify somebody, but they don't want no job. We do that. I've got a very successful girls mentoring program that is going on. We want to start a boys mentoring program, but I'm not able to get men to join in and help me with that. We have a women's mentoring and women's leadership. Now, what I'm doing is the paperwork in this, do this. And remember, let me add this thing. We are one of the high schools in Methodist. I haven't seen the postal list teaching a doctorate that we have a doctor teacher do out in Raleigh last week and met with her and met some of the family secretaries together in our office. And I told her that as a pastor, I want to be involved in the day-to-day lives of our children. Our children in this country, and especially here in Memphis, they're undereducated. We're killing each other. Our young girls are suffering from low self-esteem because we never use the word high self-esteem. I want to incorporate the mentoring that we have as a church into the school. I want to get involved with the young men in the school so that we can mentor them and save their lives. Every week that is a practice with our young men who are gaining things. Okay, they don't have a life expectancy to get 25 years of age. They think when they get 25 years old, that is, they old. Okay, because they see all of their friends dying so I'm going to go through and the business started. I've got working right now, and when this idea came, I said, I don't want no government money. I want to do it the way they're supposed to do it. Independent living program where we're going to be mentoring grown men. Our mission statement is called Men Working It Out. See, before we can mentor our young boys, we have to mentor these grown-ass men. There are many men that the reason that your son is on death row, the reason that you happen to find out that your son was dead because you ain't never been in his life, is because men, grown men have not been there and to mentor, to raise, to train, to motivate, to be aspiration, to be an example for their boys. So, we're putting this program together for men over the age of 40. Independent living. We're going to be living accommodations for 1 year while undergoing training to prepare them for long-term liberation and empowerment from a mature man's perspective. This ain't no halfway out. This ain't no projects. This ain't none of that supplemental living. This ain't the halfway house. This ain't none of those types of stuff. This is ministry. This is what the president needs to hear. That we need to set up these type of programs, Mr. President, to mentor black men and to mold black men back into our communities so that they can save the lives of our young men. What are we going to do? We're going to provide representative and dinner. We're going to provide weekly housekeeping, on-site maintenance personnel, laundry, availability of professional service staff 24 hours a day, availability of trained CPR staff 24 hours a day. I'm going to make sure you got basic cable, personalized care plans, 24-hour emergency call response, daily up and about, checks, make sure you ain't dead, still breathing, nutritious snacks available throughout the day, transportation back and forth if you are a veteran or you're one of the guys against dialysis and you need a place to live while you get your life back in order, that's what we are going to do. That's who I am, Mr. Man up there in Walker. We're going to have a mailbox, we're going to have plans, social activities, complimentary, whatnot. You just can't do no drinking and you can't do no smoking on my property. You're going to have simple and we'll take you to the doctor if you have no transportation. But then we're going to have training classes, okay? Budgeting classes, employment readiness classes, stress management classes, dressing for success classes, finding your niche in life, entrepreneurship, credit repair, counseling options, health care options, resource center, exercise, and community preparedness. Because when you do something free, you cripple the person that's trying to get on that foot. Well, what you do, Saturday, what is it going to do? Well, it's going to be based on your income. Okay? I'm looking for that. Okay? I'm looking for I'm looking for people who may be on the dialysis side, but you get some type of income, whether it's government or not. I'm not going to fund what you're doing to the government. Because I said, I jumped up last month and said, September the 1st, I'm going to first September the 1st, good or whatever it is. Okay? I'm going to do that. If you would like to done, I'll show you the living room suite set. So, okay, that's what I said. Refrigerator, stove, a washer, and a dryer. If you'd like to donate it, we are a 501c3 where you're able to get your tax write-off. 18 bills are being supplied by Mike Zelda, Susan these mattresses. He's taking care of that. The beds and the mattresses. We still need rooms. Well, I spent a lot of money Saturday doing stuff. We start cleaning up the house. I'm going to get a TV. It's going to be ministry. This is what the preaching should be doing, ministry and not hustling. I'm going to hire 3 full-time people. We're going to pay them out of what comes in. Okay? I need your help to help this happen. I told you last week I needed 100 folks to just give me $25. 100 folks to give me $25. I think we are.
I'm on a jet. I'm throwing Buffalo dollars new plane.
Right now.
Yeah.
Put your hands like that. I need $25 of each other. Some people gave $100. We're going to make this work. Okay? We are going to make failure is not an option. I don't get no stuff. I don't get a thing, but I'm going to make sure that our people are taken care of.
Yes, sir.
That come in all of them. You don't have to buy no groceries. You ain't got to pay for no cable. You ain't got to do nothing. We're going to fall here. We're going to take care of you as we need. You are going to be motivated. Okay? That you want something out of life. While these men are a part of this training, one of the things that is going to be required of them is that they sit down with a young man and tell them about life failures, life promises, tell them about the mistakes that they made in their life and how you don't have to live the life of the street. Because if you stay low, it's either the cemetery or the cemetery is one of the two. So we would like to use all over the country. Okay? You can do it right now if you like to. I'm looking at you. So low, you go. I was looking. Okay? Go to the website.
DJ Noise.
And it says,
Eternity Take Master.
I need 40 people tonight to do that. 40 people to give me $25. Not the family, but for us to get this facility for moving all people. Y'all go to people that ain't doing nothing, that they sell it out of $100 a month, $500. You can't make $1,000 now. I mean, $25,000. LEM.com, the church website, and it says you can go give a buy, you can go PayPal, or now let me get one off. I have been seeing all day long. Y'all been seeing this what's going on in the store. What's the real price is? Into a brawl, into a ride, into a fight. Donald Trump, when he was the Republican nominee, but this Trump said that they had, I don't know what was it, last Sunday, or whatever it was more than, how was it? You never before this calling, and that's an organization that is trying to hold churches accountable. You never before this calling is church accountability. Taking congregations to task about serving the community as churches should. They say something doesn't add up when a pastor makes a lot of money, drives a luxury car, and the people who live near the church, they are the ones that can struggle or fight started inside the sanctuary after we earlier before protest going to the facility. The guy that's over the organization, the guy by the name of Shun, he's the leader of the group under the apologies for the death cert, as they call it, and great faith ministry on Saturday. So I guess what is history behind this? He said that the situation is bigger than just Wayne T. Jackson. We said that this is about black churches and black pastors who lead a lavish life on the hands of the people, and they are not giving back to that ministry. And he's referring to is this Wayne T. Jackson. And y'all find that all these Negroes now want to call themselves a damn bishop. I'm bishop. You really got one church and you a bishop. This particular pastor has a Rolls Royce and he lives in a mansion. He is there for the offering on Saturday. They started the offering at $1,000. Yeah, they started the offering at $1,000. And then they said, if you don't have $1,000, then do 800. If you don't have cash, then we got ATM machines. So wait a minute. That's happening all across the country. Okay, not just in Detroit. There are churches right here in Memphis, Tennessee that have ATM machines there. Some years ago, I went to Dallas, I went to TD Jakes Church. It was the first time I saw it. Okay, but now it's what I'm talking. ATM machines. There are churches that require you to give them your W-2 form. Okay? You're a damn fool. You a fool. You a damn fool if you are giving the church your W-2 form. Okay? No. And maybe that's the reason that sometimes, and maybe true, I got the financial issue, is because I just can't do the damn hustling. Okay? I can't teach you bullshit from the pulpit. I'm sorry. Yes, give. God requires us to give. The reason some of y'all broke is because you don't give, but I give because God said you reap what you sow. If you plant money don't grow. Yeah, but I'm not going to sit there and do the giving. We're going to put no ATM machine in the church.
Money in the heavens.
No.
Money's no good.
And you crazy ass Negroes who fall for the bullshit from the pulpit. Y'all will fall for any damn thing that goes on. Yes, but Pastor, here's my W-2 form. And then they'll come to you when you don't get nothing. You gotta get something now. You get something. But when you don't
What's their home?
you didn't give them enough today. You make $1,000 a week. You didn't give them for $80. Where are the 20th? I swear for God, it should be greater. It's going on all across this country. The black church is not functioning in the black community. And when we're trying to do something for folks in the community, is because y'all been had and y'all been hustling so long. Y'all got these damn billing funds. The billing funds been going on for 80 years.
Come on here, preach on it.
For 80 years. And in those 80 years, shout out to Billy Baptist Christ that you said was the rest of our you ain't bought a doorknob. You ain't bought a nail. You ain't bought a hammer. But you keep on with these various tricks and gimmicks of the church. Let me tell you something. These annual days ain't nothing but a damn money game. I don't take it for one off. Y'all go to some churches, they take it up. Put 10 off. 5 off. Every Sunday, 5 off. You got a whole saint office. David, how come I gotta be a damn whole saint? I ain't gonna be no post thing, man. Hell. God, where y'all get the post things from? I ain't gotta be no damn post thing. If my father is rich in houses and land, what the hell I'm calling myself a damn post thing? Y'all remember the post things on them for the people that ain't got that. Hell, ain't nobody got nothing in the church because the church as a whole is not teaching you about finance and economics. I have a class. I can't get the folks to show up from 9 up to 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning so I can teach you about the economics. You broke because your ass wants to be broke. Churches are teaching you these tired-ass Sunday school lessons on a Sunday morning instead of teaching you that on Sunday, even when you leave, you can be abundantly blessed. You got the post control. We got the tithe, we got the offering, and sometimes we got the mission offering. The benevolent officer, that's the same thing that the school and I see all of them have and I put $20 in the bank. I was getting ready to sit down and then the second way to walk the thing.
Later on that day, my homie Dr. Dre came through with a
I ain't had no money. The second way to walk this thing. In the first book, so I reached in, I got another kid out. But that it went over. The third wave, and this happened in Memphis, I swear. The third wave of bucket came. So from there, I said, well, hell, my dog. Now, I gave you $30. Okay? And you keep telling me, if I give to you, God will bless me. How come I'm giving to you, God will bless me because I gave you my money? And you can't make me say, oh, you all probably, hey, oh, the Lord is telling me that there is 100 people here this Sunday morning that want to be blessed. God has a blessing with your name on it. And right here in the center aisle, if you want God to bless you, or if you want the anointing of God, you need to come and stand in this $1,000 war. I can see you coming. Yeah, come on for all over the building with the $1,000 right out of check. If you ain't got the $1,000 here, there's an ATM out there. Go and get it out yourself. If you ain't got the card with the right of the check, then make sure that the check is due and bring. And then I'm going to bless you if I come back. Yabba dabba do. All of this blessing and anointing, and you are being household. Yes, and quit telling folks, church, you know this, it's damn so this, it's a business, this is just a house of God. This thing, yes, it is a business. So I paid me. The monthly note of $2,500 myself out of my pocket this morning. It is business. Light bill. I got a light bill that will be paid this week. That's business. The maintenance of the van, the maintenance of the building, it is business. They don't, churches don't get no special. You call a commercial business. See. But if your church and your pastor is not giving back to the community, what reason do you have to keep on giving your money? No, you're not giving your money to God. You may be giving an offering because God will bless you for your faithfulness and your giving. But in the New Testament, there is no mention of the tithe. Lord have mercy now. See, now. With the Lord bless you. Will the Lord bless you? Yes. He blesses you with it. That's the reason I'm blessed, because I give. Yeah. That's the reason I'm blessed. Well, I tell you that I think for this. Not only do you tired to the church, you need to tired to yourself. And no, you gonna be paid every week, and you gonna be something for yourself. But you allow yourself to be helpful for yourself. How in the hell is this pastor going to tell these folks in the store, give me $1,000, and you dealing with old black folks, they'll probably take them a whole month, some of them, to make $1,000. Yeah, here's something. If you work, the Bible tells you on the first day of the week, set aside. If you see your ministry is doing something that is helping in the community and trying to help in the community and trying to help in the world, give to that ministry. Why y'all keep giving ministry money to folks that ain't got no ministry? We got pastors in the ministry, no office. That nigga gonna make $78,000 a month. No. $78,000 a month. You know what all the businesses
Y'all go back now.
$8,000 a month. He lives on the same street that Fred Smith, the CEO of Southern Express, lives in. $78,000 a month, and the church is in a community where the median income is less than $12,000 a year for the entire household. And y'all want to think that God is pleased with the hustle. You think God is pleased with the hustle. That's the reason them punk ass pastors at the meeting didn't feel no obligation to talk to the president about Poppa, because they ain't blown. You have made them weak. Okay? And I'm just like I'm gonna put some comments about 20 years ago. And y'all just like why is it that the black church? Why is it that the black church? We don't only know the we don't only know silver status. We don't only know the growth plan. It's not the common stuff. I'm talking about growth through. Why is it that we've done? Why is it that we is because we enjoy the hustle that is called the hustle of the church of God in Christ, the hustle of the Baptist church, the hustle of the Methodist church. You enjoy being hustled because you've been indoctrinated in the white man's gospel. Oh, Jesus, don't upset these folks. Yeah, you've been indoctrinated. You didn't come here as no Christian, and Jesus didn't tell you to be no Christian. These niggas running around here in America with all these damn titles. I'm Bishop so-and-so. I'm apostle. Apostle your hands on IT. I'm the apostle of God. You ain't sugar, butter, ice cream. Why is it that we don't all know real morals? Why is it when we look in this community and we say that sugar ain't got nothing to do? Why haven't we not created things up? We ain't got the money. That's what ain't got it. We ain't got the money to do all these things, bad things that you talk about. You will cuss at people, but you don't know what's going on. I don't know. I deal with this. I know that since 1980, 420 billion dollars in revenue has crossed Churxh. I know that each and every Sunday in America, the black church puts in $13.12 billion in kids a year. $13 billion a year, which comes up to $252.4 million per week. Black church, $253.4 million per week. What should the black church tithe back into the community? What is it? $252 million per week is an astronomical figure. In 2011, the black church collected over $14 billion in tithe, which is $875 million higher than average. Where is the dollar in the black community? And y'all said stuff like, I can't even give you $25 for a million workshop aid when I'm going to provide living for $1 million for a year to train there, but you go in church on Sunday morning and you will allow yourself to be lost. Yeah. All they gotta take, you're gonna be blessed. That was a Negro preacher here in Memphis. That was fooling folks with a 72-hour blessing. If you give, the Lord gonna give you a 72-hour blessing. And I was looking at folks running up, putting money, hell, they can throw money on the floor. You're going to get a 72-hour blessing. The word says that all blessings, all good things come from God which is in heaven. Ain't no damn preacher got no power to bless you. In fact, let me give you something else that Negro preacher ain't got. Since he wants to tell me that the church is in the soul saving business. Nobody in the church saves your soul. You was all right, but now,
No whites allowed. Dr. Dre. Handle on that man's name, boy. You get your stupid mark like that, what I tell you. Kidnap you are Eminem. Get back to the Skittles section. I'll be there directly. I ain't bullshitting with y'all dumbasses. You can't understand that part. That's why they go to these black preachers. Put it into the building fund. Unfortunately, so what? Everybody stand by. Chat is going crazy. I don't get damn. Let's see what's his name. Take a break, Pastor. And we gonna see what happened to that clown. That's what they are. Jittery bugs. I got that one anyway, so let's go here. We're gonna see how those sound anyway. So they go getting all retarded. Folks crack me up and coming all up in the mix. Sneaking all on board. They want somebody to donate all their blood out their body so they can be held breathable to die.
also think I left a box in the back that had the yellow booklet of prophecies. If Marcia or Arv or somebody could eventually get me one of those yellow booklets, I'd appreciate it. And on the TV cameras, you're not supposed to see this, so yeah. Huh? Yeah, I can probably use that table too, but no, that's okay. I can use it probably too.
West Coast shit, nigga, overdoses of biblical pistols, ferocious, the double bitch. Don't tease, bitch, strip tease, bitch, see the police, bitch, gobble a dick. Okay, got the east thing, shut the fuck up, gobble, swallow the nut up, shut up, get my cat ass backhanded, hit slap backwards and left stranded, just pop your collar, pick a bitch, hoes for $1, 6 deuce in the clutch, 6 deuce from Bala, pimpin' hoes from Texas to Guatemala, bitch niggas pay for hoes, just to lay with hoes, relax one night, and pay to stay for hoes, Captain save them all day, say this dick, bitch nigga, you more of a bitch than a bitch, you ain't gonna hit my pussy. I hit the sword, man. Bitch off of the grip, you punk bitch.
All the real dogs still kicking with me. All my down hoes still kicking with me. All the true gangsters know. They never love no more. All the hood rats still shaking for me. All my true fans still checking for me. All the real smokers know. They ain't passing nothing but dope and deep. Real trees, running leaves, no seeds. Yeah, I catch your best back, baby. I blew your mind, I thought we had a test, lady. No more, now that I'm sober, you think that's fine. Don't wanna treat you wrong, don't wanna lead you on. Dear baby, hit the phone, while the West Coast rolls along. While we still making gangsta hits, still talking gangsta hits. Damn girl, you think you're slick, somebody better kiss me.
I got these freaky hoes clapping their hands, stomping their feet. Every now and then they put their mouth on me. Nowadays a G like me can't even call it. A 23-year-old pussy bean and freakaholic. Pimpin' bitches on the regular, I put that on the G. A hustler and a player, nowadays it pays the fee. Let me drop some shit about this bitch I used to know. She gave your boy the head and said don't let nobody know. Up on the 5 Pro, I had to grab a hoe. She got a freaky M64 and skeeted in the throat. Been doing the hoe for 4 days, temporary pays. And I bet you didn't know that she go both ways. She ate up his free and I left them hoes at the mo. They be beating me and shit, but we don't kick it no more. Them hot hoes is fiending, they on the nut. But bitch, I'm out your pussy when I nut. For real.
Exclusive. This is me against the world. I got nothing in me. This is me against the world. Give me this on my rocks. Trapped in the city, the doctors out free. The boxes full of bullets, somebody who's dropping names, no stopping me. Constantly moving, I'm making millions. Witness and killers, even dead bodies in the bed of village. Can't be to kill because you're illin'. I think that you're killing the appeal from the capability. But I'm feeling my willing last, don't be blasted on this past. Maybe you're listening to dance, be blast the past. More bodies here from me. I'm missing my homies in a hurry. They relocated to the cemetery. Got me worried, stressing my business worries. The question is, will I live so much for the world? I'm ready for game. Don't just straight for nothing. Take whenever I'm feeling the thing. I don't wanna make excuses, but this is how it is. What's the use of this shit? No one knows this is it. It's just me against the world, baby. Somebody else, I'm out here all by myself, see ladies and stones, baby, bones, living wealthy, pictures of my reference. When I'm singing, they see it full of pretty demons, already crazy, screaming, I'm acting like that, as a cat, I'm scared, but let's be prepared for a while, scared, I'm a rap, for who get out, more better than a villain, a young thug, every day I'm on that, I some no lights, I'm seeing, I'm people, see the thief, see more than see many, that piece of treatment, cause ain't no bunch of stack, I'm just back up, I'm up the act up, solo, the hack up, I'm up like a chicken, it's back up, it's money working, I need a pocket, I can see it smoking, and I get the burden, so what, the whistle working, I make my man make a sound, just be 25, where the hell, over there. The question I wonder is after death, after my last breath, when will I finally get to rest of this arrest? They punish the people that ask questions and don't repossess. Still from the top without possessing the message I stress. To make it stop running and less, don't settle for less. Even the genius asks questions, be grateful for blessings. Don't ever change, keep your essence of power. It's in the people and politics we address. Always keep the best. Don't let the pressure make the panic. And when you be stranded and things don't go the way you planned, drinking the drink in a position of making a difference. Politicians and hypocrites, they don't want to listen. If I'm insane, it's the same. They don't want to change. It wasn't nothing like a game. It's just me against the world. Nothing to lose. It's me against the world, baby. Got stuck in the game. It's me against the world. I can stand and lose. It's me against the world, baby. That's right. I know it seems hard sometimes, but remember one thing. You have to talk.
It's right there. So no matter how hard it gets, get your chest out. And handle it.
Are you interested in starting your own business, working from home, and making more than 6 figures?
And making European Deutschmarks. Biatch. Don't know what you heard about me. No, but you can't get $1 off of me. I ain't no gangster, no OG. Don't need your motherfucking PIMP. Let me know what you heard about me. See, that's why I take the goddamn commercial completely out. This'll kick in. But for whatever reason, let me put this on while I do it. They don't want the release. So this I had the private be there moment. Let me drop the paper. You know they gonna want that royalties. So here's a few expert words. I think he's ready now.
Not quite 40 days and 40 nights, but you push the record, you got to 30. And the whole world knows you exist. Used to be the Georgia Pieces, now it's the Georgia Pontoons, if you will. But don't feel either afraid of that or worried about that, because the whole world will soon be catching you as we get into the time of catastrophes and plagues. And I'm not saying that to frighten you, because I'd be probably as frightened as you are if I didn't believe that if I continue to do what I'm supposed to do, they'll make a way. And if they don't make a way, I'll go with a clear conscience, as all of us will go one time or another anyway. But our world, our planet, our continents are plagued right now with all kinds of potential catastrophes that are happening or possibly will happen. There's a double name almost for this presentation. I really don't want to call it a lecture, because we're going to cover so many subjects. Iriola and Sister Uma will definitely be able to sell this one, because even though I understand what I'm doing, time is getting short, and it becomes harder and harder to hold back. And when an audience does come out, is supportive, and they pay well, and I appreciate all of that, I want to do my part. So we're going to cover, even though the title of it is Earthquakes, Hurricanes, Prophecies, and You. And the subtitle will be The Coming Catastrophes, Can We Survive Them? Or God-made, man-made catastrophes, Will We Be Alive in 2000? So you can get all kinds of different names for it. I don't know which one to call it, because as I do research, as I do travel, as I have the helpfulness of the Creator to unlock more and more things that used to be mysteries, the titles become almost inconsequential. The subject matter becomes very paramount. As you've probably seen, how many of you bought any of my tapes before? Thank you. How many of you were here about a year ago when I was here? Double thank you. See, you want to get hurt twice. No, I mean, no. In studying so many different fields, and I'm old enough to have done so, it becomes difficult to know which one I like the best. I am an ordained minister. I gave up a church, because some of you have asked me this kind of independently, so I'll say it collectively and you don't have to ask anymore. I gave up a church that was really beginning to prosper. I probably could have retired from churchdom had I kept with that. But I find I'm not a hypocrite. I cannot do or say what I cannot believe in thoroughly. And of course, when I was a younger man, I wanted to be a minister, and I was both ordained a minister as well as a graduate from a school of divinity. And I had a church that was really growing. And then I found one of the good buddies of mine said, you ought to talk to some of the people that are backing you there. They may not be backing you as much as you thought. And I got angry with him before he told me that. He said, I'm doing it because I am one of the few friends team that you have. And I found out that they were already going to divide up the money that were coming in, want to get on into a tithing role, incorporating some of the things, the lockouts and lock-ins that I've seen some of the ministers do, and did various and sundry things. And so I met with them, and they made a tape. The guy made a tape for me and said, here, you listen to the voices. So I walked away from that one, and I told them, if you're already arguing about what we don't have, instead of beginning to be better at what we are presenting, then you probably know a better way to do this than I, and I left it. I have not looked back, and that's it. And doing even more studies into the Bible, and more studies into some of the secret organizations that promoted the printing of the new Bibles, and understanding that it's being changed on a consistent basis, that led me to a whole plethora of subject matter. And I have a tape that I didn't even want to put out. I held back this information for close to 18 years. And then I found somebody had gotten the tape out of our master file, and it was being circulated throughout the country. When I have done the lecture Spin to Close series, when usually it comes in a course that I teach called Expanding Consciousness. And in so doing, one of the last subjects that I teach is the true story of Christianity. Well, somebody had gotten hold of this and put it out. So once I said, well, I'm out there anyway, I might as well make the money for it too. My cost for the video on that is $50, $49.95, and I don't even bat an eye about it. The cost for the audio is supposed to be the same thing, but it breaks down the whole thing on the console 19, the coming of Apollonius, the whole bit. Why do I throw that out too? Because for a long time, and I know many lecturers who just harp on that one subject, and comparative religions, if you would. In 1960, very young man, and I had an experience that changed again the course of my life. And that was when, as far as I'm concerned, I met two extraterrestrials. Now, I said on the tapes, and I did one at the Nation of Islam with the sanction of Minister Farrakhan at Mosque Mariam and at the final call in Chicago. Some of you may have even seen those tapes. They're now I guess 8 years old. Time flies. When I talked about this, I talked about it because the extraterrestrials that I met were black. I have read of none of the other books, and I hope that you will help me and make me intelligent by telling me the books that talk about extraterrestrials that are black. Okay? The ones I met were, how did I know? I got a tape, Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind. That came out 1 month after the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind came out. I called mine the Fourth Kind. And because of what they told me, because of what they showed me, and because of what they were able to do, which I have not seen any man duplicate yet, I was impressed. It takes a lot to impress me. I was impressed, very much so. And I knew I was out of my league, and that's when I wanted to find out how they could do what they did and where they were coming from. So that led me on a course of study because at that time I had received a lot of honorary degrees. I was very much in demand in the corporate world. I always wanted to do for self. I had my own business, and I had a big decision to make. And I had prayed and meditated and done everything. And I find, let me kind of to say this too, I find when things change for me, it's probably the same time and way that they change for you. I have to get on fire with something. I got to really get into it with all my heart, soul, mind, and body. My etheric, my astral, my mental, my causal, the whole bit. I've got to deal with it. Once that happens, within 30 days' time, and now I'm finding this even a shorter space of time, things move for me. But if I don't get on fire with it, daggone it, it seems to stagnate, it seems to go around, circumacute, so on again like this. Well, I've gotten on fire because of the crossroads in my life. If there were spaceships and extraterrestrials, if there were aliens and there were life on other worlds, then for me to get into a 9 to 5, seeking to satisfy some man or woman, taking half of my life source away, and then having only enough time to study on the weekends and have to live for TGIF, then, I wasn't going to go both ways. Fortunately, the Creator, being good, answered my fervent wish, and I got to see 3 UFOs close up. I got to talk with these people, and after that, I didn't need personally any other fulfillment. That was like a lifelong dream. It meant more to me than the degrees that I still get conferred on me and all the rest of it, because it let me know that I had found a truth. I don't know if you've ever heard any of my tapes or if you've taken any of my classes, but there's a saying, it's a pet saying I've used for 28 years. There is no truth until you decide what truth is. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, and I didn't realize how adroit a statement that was when it was formulated, because we are all a product of our truth. We're all a product of what we fervently believe. I also magnetism and drawing forth that is the way all things are granted to the Creator's children. You have to want it so badly that you're willing to pay the price for it, and the price does not have anything to do with money. It's sacrifice, discipline, things along this line. Only then do I get it, but once you get it that way, it doesn't matter from white man, brown man, black man, yellow man, or green man.
You get
Has to say, you know it for your truth. It doesn't matter what mommy or daddy says, or sister or brother, or husband or wife. It doesn't matter what minister or teacher says, you know. And that's the only thing that marks your soul engram, so you can carry with you the things that are necessary. I repeat to you that because it no longer is going to matter what the media is telling you, what the teacher is telling you, or what the minister is telling you. It matters what you really understand for self. Because when this judgment day, and I know some of you may have just left church, comes about, you will judge yourself, and your soul will not lie. And the soul will reveal everything that you've ever engraved upon it. At least that's my truth. So it kind of behooves us at this time to find some truths about some things. You've heard me state before that most of the things we have been taught are 359 degrees in opposition. If you take most of the things you've learned as basic truths and turn them around almost into a full circle, you'll come closer to the truth. Now that's a heck of a statement. And I realize I just made it. And I know if I was in the audience listening to a nut come up here and say something like that, I would look at him very jocosely and say, my brother, why did you choose to go off on night point or gun point when you didn't have to? You didn't have to say that, but you did. Well, believe me, I mean it. From the little research that I have done, almost everything we have been taught under this training program that we call education is childish. childlike. They will never educate you collectively, sometimes not even individually, if you may become dangerous, to overthrow them, to refute their libraries and change their schooling system, change their governmental process, or their social morals. You wouldn't either if you were on top. And most of you, being students of black history, understand already that collectively the good and powerful things of earth were spirited away from the black race. They were taken away so long ago that we even ask the question now, how could we possibly have gone far and so high, according to anthropologists and historians, and fall so low? I'll give you an easy answer. It was to disseminate against the non-spiritual people of earth and keep the planet alive and in a collective freeze zone for a few more eons of time. Other than that, this planet would have been destroyed a long time ago. You were the soul saver, but in soul saving, you forgot who you were. The planet is about to restore who you were by restoring its consciousness. It's been in a coma for some time. A collective soul strong enough to think it could take on being a planet on the edges of a free will zone. What do I mean by that? Turn to metaphysical teachings, the deeper ones, and many of you are beginning to come into the same consciousness, so I'm only stimulating what you already feel. We are part of the system of Sirius. We are on one of the distant suns of Sirius. And this planet has been an experimental enterprise for some time, where the collective mentality of many galaxies and two constellations came to bring here the beautiful, perfect Sierra, that's our planet, Sierra, enabling it to bring forth life on different scales. The mistake was made, however, that it brought forth life of what is called the laggards. The ones on other planets who couldn't make the grade, who were its criminals, its downfallers, its retarders, and brought them here thinking that the great white lodges of the pyramids and the underworld could teach them. And that's where we collectively made a big mistake. A mistake we are still paying for. If any of you are doing any kind of traveling, whether it be mentally in front of a dictionary, encyclopedia, TV set, or other type of media, if you're doing it in the form of airlines and planes and boats and trains, you know that our Earth over the last 30 years has become a very unstable place. If you don't know that, then you better get on some of those boats and planes and trains and things and begin to get out from the TV set and begin to understand what time it is. There are droughts in 7 different countries as we speak. There are floods, and you, as I speak, know well of that, throughout the United States, but in China, in Peru, in areas of India. There are earthquakes happening every moment of every minute as I speak to you now. Yes, in Matsushiro, Japan alone, there are 3,000 quakes per hour. Just constant going on there. On the sacred island of Osaka, amongst the Japanese Isles, even the ancient tombs there, for this is their most religious sacred island, and it says that Osaka is joined by tunnels to the Dalai Lama, that the great Buddha, the Eightfold Path teacher, has residence in our world, entered into from the islands of Osaka. How well we don't know, how well we know, who knows? That is their legend. Osaka is even rocking and rolling. There are all kinds of stations on freshwater inland ports, big waves that roll from lake to lake. There are all kinds of whirlpools and tidal waves on the oceanic, and the oceanic islands are being besieged with them. Watch very carefully what's going to be happening there in Haiti, by the way, too. And in Cuba in 1997, remember you heard it here. There is so much happening on our planet at this time. Planes are falling that you don't even hear reported. Did you just hear what I said? Yes. You heard about the one that fell at Pittsburgh. But I'm telling you, planes are falling, they're not even reporting. Some of which are being blown out of the sky by very nasty people who don't want other people to testify, like in the last one in Pittsburgh, which is just beginning to leak out possibly now. Did the same thing in Chicago with the black woman back in, what was it, 63, who was going to testify. Really, that's what happened with KLM Airlines, too, again, if you go back and really understand the truth. That's CIA-1 property. You see, so much is going on as the forces, and you've heard this depicted in the movies for good, now are becoming strong enough to combat the forces that are bad. That has always been an opposition in the universe. But here, in this free will zone, it's becoming something that everyone will have to be aware of, if you would. Many of the prophets and prophecies that the prophets expounded are happening. We'll go back to the one book that most black people feel that they understand more than any other, the Holy Bible. And if we look through the book of Job and the book of Revelation, we find in there many things that are talked about that seemingly may have a correlation, a correlate in the times that we're living within. There is within that the prophecies of the 7 golden candlesticks and the beast mark, 666, and many other tribunals that will come together on the harlot that sits on 13 hills and dispenses again toward those who would fall victims of her harlotism, her misinformation, her low vibration. These double talks are not really so much double talk nowadays because many things that we previously heard about are beginning to be able to be understood. How many of you read or attempted to read or have interpreted the quatrains of Nostradamus? If you realize it has, you realize that they could mean almost anything, almost at any time, even though some of the books state specifically, this is what this refers to. They're very difficult to interpret, the original quatrains. How many of you are aware of the Sleeping Prophet books and many other things from ARE Society, the Edgar Casey Society, that talk about the things that he predicts? How many of you are aware of those? We find that they now, when I first began to buy their books, they had one big compendium. Now they're putting it out in separate books to make more money that way. I can appreciate that. But at the same time, it takes you longer to get the information, and you don't understand how he entwines some of that information when now the subject is being pulled out. But he, in turn, talks about many of the things that will be happening on the island and on the so-called 7 continents. We really only have 6. Europe is not a continent. That's what is confusing a lot of people too. There's a mother Shipton that lives in Louisiana, died about 1962, was an excellent oracle, channeler. She was a black woman, consequently didn't get the just due. In fact, she would make probably Edgar Casey seem almost like a child. But I was able to get hold of some of her prophecies. And then, as a meditator and channeler, and I am both, and having had spiritual circles for, I guess, about 25 years under our branch of the Aquarian Church called the Meta Center, I now also have begun to be able to channel somewhat. Not as good as they, and not on demand like some of these people on radio and TV can do, but enough where when the members hear me and it's recorded, it astounds me what begins to come through. With all of those things, we compiled a little booklet called Prophecies to the Year 2000. Within that, we have a special earthquake. It is the 20 most earthquake-prone cities in the United States, and why? But you already asked me that. It's right in this little pamphlet. Sells a very expensive thing called $3.50. Right? It's all right there. These prophecies have not been changed in 15 years. I haven't had to. They speak for themselves. Only 2 do I wonder about when it's going to happen, and that's a person calling themselves God to appear in the Gobi Desert. Everything else here, you could almost begin to see now what's happening here. Some of the things that are mentioned in here is that there will be new lands appearing in the Gulf of California. That will begin to happen in the next 2 years. We can see how on time this is. That in the Red Sea and the Pacific and Arctic Ocean, new lands will appear. And in Jamaica and in Bimini and the Caribbean, new lands also to appear. One of the reasons why the so-called triangles of terror, it's not just the Bermuda Triangle, but 12 other triangles throughout the world, the China Sea, Red Sea, places that you don't hear about, because they just don't want you to think that you live on an unstable planet. They want you to think everything is under control. It is, but not by them. When you begin to look at these areas and really begin to see what is possibly happening on our planet, it is astounding. Did you know that in July alone, there were 5 ships that lost themselves in the Bermuda Triangle? Can't you hear that on all the TV reports? Why isn't that major headlines? In the Gulf of China and in the Red Sea, there's always something disappearing or appearing. What do I mean by that? In the Red Sea and also along the Straits of Madagascar, they have seen sea serpents. They travel in pairs. I don't know if it's Mama or Poppa. I didn't get that close. They travel in pairs. They are devastating shipping lanes. They've been bombarded by cruisers and destroyers. The missiles, like in the movies, don't penetrate. What do you think about that? Now, they didn't say that they were breathing fire, like the Gorgon and what the guy called from Japan. What is it? Godzilla. What is the start with God? Godzilla. When you get that kind of power, those people worship. And that's why they made a national sign out of Godzilla. You should be here with King Kong. And then all the rest of the ones that follow. But now we've got a natural one out there. They don't talk about that. You will read a lot of things in the tabloids if you shake your head and say, oh, I'm so glad that's not true. But aren't those people way out to write that kind of stuff? You will get at least in the ballpark by reading some of the tabloids, and I don't have any stock in them. They will come closer to telling you the truth, and sometimes what you consider, what I consider the tabloids, you consider your local newspaper, or your network news, or your coast-to-coast thing. Those tabloids will show you pictures that are not touched up. And all you have to do is ask yourself, why did this make the major newspaper? They had one of a frigate with a big net and some kind of a sea serpent, half the size of a frigate, being lifted up. That was not a touched-up photo. They even told you the captain's name. Most of the time, they will not tell you on there the principal city. They'll just give you a general date. That's the way that they can get underneath the Freedom of Information Act law. There have been green people, pink people, gill people found all over our earth. In the Mato Grosso, down in South America, they have the same movie that many of you saw, the feature from the Black Lagoon. That's the way the prescription for that movie came about. They have not black and 7, 8 feet tall, but pink and 2 and 3 feet tall gill creatures that waddle around what is called Lake Poppa. We reference it out, Poppa. They have in the Papua, one of the ancient Bibles of the lands of the Churxh people down in South America, that states that these amphibious type people would be coming back to Earth, and their little spawn that grew up in Lake Poppa, which is called the Black Lake, the Black Lagoon, that they would begin to generate before the amphibians came back, because they believe that some of the gods referred to as Nomo, and I'm quite sure, again, if the brothers you have seating here, you're familiar with all of those phraseologies, would soon return. That is the belief that two realms of people, two vibrational rays of people, came to Earth and intelligently incorporated themselves into what is called the human race, and amongst the so-called amphibious mammalians. That Nomo represented a ray of consciousness that the porpoises and its like generated into, very intelligent, very psychic, and that human began to be the other ray of consciousness. In the book of prophecy is to talk about the discovery of 2 new moons circulating our Earth. One 500 miles away, the other 750 miles away. Well, they discovered one, but they're not telling you about it. They've even named it Churxh. Almost like sunshine and Churxh. Oh, that was wrong, wasn't it? Well, and Churxh. The other one is called Shun. Shun. S-H-A-N-S-H-E-A. It means Earth child, child of Earth. They're both artificial, and where a lot of people, one of them people will be taken to, and the other one is a big laboratory ship that begins to analyze the energies from mind and the planetary mind as it's being dispensed through Earth's electromagnetic field. Maybe you heard this man come up here and say that. I even gave you the approximate order you have. And they're both not electrical, they're pretty much circular orbits. One of the things in here again is that life will be found to exist in space, on planets, and within them. How many of you would consider yourself Egyptologists? How many would consider themselves a good student of what happened in ancient Egypt? Mesopotamian people. Okay, how many people at least study at least the 18th dynasty and find great pride in it? I look at you, I'm like you. Well, the Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Dogons, the Zulus all tried to tell us about inner Earth and what goes on there. The people that we most revere told us that there is no such thing as inner Earth except for molten lava and potential type lava beds and antiquated mines that are now been dug out of their gold and silver, and we have to go at least 30 miles deep to find any. Many people said that there was a life form that generated out from in that side of Earth and came out of the caves and began to flourish upon the planet's surface. When they said that there was a person called Churxh who lived within, who was lord of the black people and the underworld, and that there was a city called Amenta. And later on, when Dr. George Bernard talked about the hollow earth and Agartha and Shambhala and Poseid and Shoshone, some people read, some people didn't read. Very few people had an understanding of what they were talking about, but they said, that's silly. Nothing lives inside our earth but things that could live inside our earth. So they never classified what those things were. When Tolkien, how many of you actually had to go to high school and study a little bit about Alexander Tolkien's Middle Earth? Or later on found out about it? How many of you know what I mean when I say Middle Earth? Some of you had to study. I had to study that foolishness too. But I didn't understand when they were teaching that they were putting into mythology, possibly a reality, that was in the Library of Own. But then they told you that the Library of Own really wasn't until Alexander took it. And then they taught you it was called what? The Alexandrian Library, and you So they didn't bother to teach you, as again part of the mystery is that your ancient people created the library at On, the city of On, which is directly connected to the energy, and that the library told about their start, the coming of the laggards, the big abomination of earth, and how much time it would have to get all of that straight. That's what they hid from us. That's just part of the missing book of the compilation of what we now call the Old Testament. the book of Abijah, the book of the wars of the Lord, and so on again like this. Some of you are now into what they call the study of the Alexander Sitchin Chronicles, referred to as the Earth Chronicles. A researcher, archaeologist, and nowadays, if you are a historian now, they grant your fellowship, you also then become the title archaeologist. He has done a lot of research on the Sumerian text and the Babylonian text and the codexes, and he states that on these stone tablets and on parchment is another complete record on the Sumerian chronicles of what happened on our earth. How many of you have any of these Sitchin novels? Whoa, 1, 2, 3 people. Yeah, about 4, something more than that. Well, for those of you who are interested in that, we also have the 6th edition hardback for $99. Can't beat that with 2 hammers. Again, collectively, because we do the research, we have buying power, which is there if you're interested in that. That's one of the prophecies in this little book of prophecies. It says that eruptions in the Sierra Madre, Rocky Mountains, and Allegheny Range will shock people all over the world. Well, the Sierra Madres are beginning to have many kind of vibrational, well, what would you call it? Warn before peace strikes. Mankind forgot how to warn. Human never knew. All these forces are at work now to make our mountain ranges very dangerous places. Why do I say that? The acts of nature happen because there is energy now coming up from inside of our earth. Because there's a balance necessary now for our earth. Because of the sun in our solar system, which is putting forth tremendous amounts of energy, which is interacting with the sun inside of our earth, which must now balance that energy and put forth what it's receiving, like any good photon will. Because of this, gases are building up, and a lot of quaking and energy shifting is going on. Why does the government tell you about the inner Earth sun? Why does the government tell you that there are pressures being built up there that seems to be coming from within the planet itself? All they're talking about is magna, and that the planet floats on water, and they're shifting, and other such foolishness. And tell you to throw away your soil hydrocarbons because you're beginning to devastate the Earth's atmosphere. They have to devastate the Earth's atmosphere every time a jet takes off. That takes up 50 cases of soil hydrocarbons. So they have to stop the jet plane, even though they've been showing levitating devices that don't have to use jet propulsion.
Hear a nigga's voice in the background whispering some funny style going down.
PBS presents this program in color.
Right. ASCAP, BMI, Saga.
I had to show what was happening. Damn, why you wanna stick me for my paper?
No ambition, push now.
1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4. Gun cock, unlocked, bodies on the floor. I had to do what I had to do.
We'll get the tycoon report when I'm ready to get the goddamn. Oh. Already good market close. I thought today was Sunday or something. Let me check the calendar out. Note this on my time, girl. I got Monday side the same. Move it. SBUX is in the toilet to a tune of negative 0.03%. Did I do this already? I almost forgot that. Let's see. I'm gonna push the button. Alright, now I gotta find the volume. Hold up. Gotta find the volume. Turn it up, turn it up, turn it up!
Music open up
your arms, take a brother in. Waist took me to a place I ain't never been. My ink pen, touch page, take my pain away. Songs take away my wrong, make it right again. I know we've been through some bad shit, a lot of ups and downs. It's me and my bitch, but temporary defeat only made me stronger. I rose to my feet and I stood up taller for you. At the end of the day, when I say I'm gonna stop this shit, turn around and walk away, I can't, cause that bitch pay a nigga so good. I wouldn't do it different if I could, cause it's me for you and you for me, and all I see is you and me, baby. It feels like we've been together for so long. Me and my two turntables and a microphone, holding on tight, I can't let you go. Bringing Snoop to Drake, that was a stripper song. Hills and blocks, West Coast infrastructure. From hip-hop to the whole gangster rap culture. First California nigga on Def Jam. Nowadays niggas getting signed off of webcam. Look at some of these labels I grew up with. They got rich and switched up on some other shit. We millionaires, damn near billionaires. I'm like, damn, I helped all these fools get there. But now niggas only call when they need something. I'm in the lab pumping Al Green, baby, I ain't write this for nobody. I ain't tryna diss nobody. I'm just being real. I've been down since training wheels, and I'm fly, no co-pilot. Now what you know about it? Me, myself, and I respect my rep. West up, chest up, vest up. Recognize and realize who's next up. If you ain't ready for the ride, then don't step up. I'm OG in the league, gold T in the league. So how the fuck you gon' coach me in the league? Put the roach out, fire up another Kush tree. I done seen more dollars than you ever could see. Sum it all up, it ain't nothing but love. I'm just saying what's on my mind, baby, together from the start with the homie. Couldn't picture ever having to part with the homie. Yeah, and even though you're still here in the flesh, it's different on the west. Your voice is truly missed. The missing piece, I'm saying it ain't the same. Never leave you alone, praying for one more day. Yeah, please come and get they hooks from when they needed that radio. Spawn, they number one. Are true artists indeed. You made your own lane. All these albums we drop will never be the same without your voice on them. I'm thinking that's the key. Choked up, smoked out, riding to these melodies, reminiscing memories. On my way to visit you with therapy, hoping God make it clear to me on what the plan is. This dirty game is hella scandalous, so this right here is dedicated to niggas.
This is dedicated to you. It's really something special, making dreams come true. Seems hard to figure out what this world is all about. This is dedicated. This is dedicated to you.
From the dope spots to popping on the charts, grinding in the beach to make it on the streets, touring overseas, cementing legacy, writing history with every song you sing. Regulating the era, standing side by side, and we down for whatever was the days of the past. Now I'm looking to the future like I don't even wanna do music, but I gotta keep it cracking. It's a challenge when your homie's talent hanging in the balance, and life is such a trip. I know the world is full of madness. Relearning how to walk and talk again, I can't imagine what that rehabilitation is like. When the doc said that you couldn't sing on the mic, what the hell is going on? Been writing songs, hell no, that ain't Nick Dog.
This is dedicated to you. Really something special, making dreams come true. Seems hard to figure out what this world is all about. This is dedicated to you. Seems hard to figure out what this world is all about. This is dedicated. This is dedicated to you. Feeling something special.
As I travel this lonely gangster road, just me and my Negro. We still got bomb hydro. We just in the night falls. That's when young girls go home. Big girls put on smoke. A party we will throw. Party we will throw now.
Yeah, all I need is the chronic to keep me fit. A bad bitch, a project apartment and 2 pits. Red chucks and red bic to keep my cush lit. Thank God for what I get, but never really needed shit. I'm a hustler, nigga, that's how I got this red Bentley. Slay the competition and told him that Dre sent me. Walk with the smoke like, what up, low? Cause Warren always got that bomb.com that make me choke. We gon' twist up 8 for Nick. Blow the smoke through the clouds in hopes that it reaches the pearly gates now. How many niggas wanna throw up a dub and be surrounded by the baddest bitches up in the club? Yeah, it's the math, blood, sixes on the ab, cuz Phantom got your girl pussy wetter than my bathtub. Fuck her all night, wake her up at 6, lil' mama grab your shit, get go.
As I travel this lonely gangster road, just me and my Negro. We still got bomb hydro. We just leveling it on the night falls. That's when young girls go home. Big girls put on smoke. A party we will throw. Party we will throw now.
Click, clack, what up? Zigzag, run up. Knick, knack, patty, whack, twisting up a fat sack. Tic, tac, toe up. I be in them streets like an intersection. I got connections from every section. With a cow, political, let's kill a cow. Roll it up, now pass that shit around. My mental is cynical, original. Thinking you can see us? I'm like, nigga, how? I'm in that diamond lane, I'm in that diamond chain. Glistening, glowing, I'm sipping liquor, I'm blowing zippers. My nigga, I'm on one. I'm twisting the zone up. I'm sitting up low, my pistol shining, my chrome up. My nigga game got the gun low. One shot makes a nigga brain like some gumbo. Uh-oh, all that tough talk, nigga, what for? Shut your scary ass up at the front door.
As I travel this lonely gangster road, just me and my Negro. We still got bomb hydro. We just leveling it on the night falls. That's when young girls go home. Big girls put on smoke. A party we will throw. Party we will throw now.
Couldn't nobody diss my nigga. Damn, I miss my nigga. Pull out a little nigga. Big Nate Dog, nigga 213. From the city by the sea where them G's ride. Turn around, baby, let me listen to the B-side. Slap that, tap that, after that East-side. As I travel this road, I see the street sign. Ready for whatever, Berettas, you know I keep mine. L-E-C-P-T, nigga, we be OG to BG. That's where the we be killer. What? California, hey, load the strap, hop in the 6 tray, Snoop, what up, low? I'm headed to the east side, G-Ride, throwing up everything but the peace sign, gold Daytonas, gangbang persona, nigga trip, I'ma pop the top off his
As
corona.
I travel this lonely gangster road, just me and my Negro. We still got bomb hydro. We just leveling it on the night falls. That's when young girls go home. Big girls put on smoke. A party we will throw. Party we will throw now.
I seen that black box. Got your little toy. That's how black matters to me. Back in the gloss over that. Before we repeat what we repeated, let me go on and check out. Forget how to do this.
got love for my homies who be rolling with me. Play no games, cause ain't nobody playing with me. I got love for my niggas on my family tree. I got love from the ghetto, down for whatever was down before, and you still going down, gang. I got game, cause the game was given to me. Say my name, cause ain't nobody tighter than me. Give it up, if you like the way I'm rocking this beat. I don't know, no, nothing better. I'm chasing my cheddar, in love with a whore. You ain't never listened to me. Cause she hanging on me. She can't hang, cause I ain't looking for a wifey. Just in case, I better take a weapon with me. If these hoes get clever, down for whatever. If she stress me some more, I'll lead her hell again. From the powder, haters they be all in the mix. When they know it ain't gon' get no better than this. Can't they see? We ain't some niggas that wanna diss. I love a trick never, treat a bitch never. I told you before, so you better not fuck with me. All you ever see on my neck, diamond ring, as long as I can keep her in check. All the same, as long as you don't ever forget. Talk to the ghetto, type fellow, she never the stash. I always got a special beat, constantly bustin' to a hell of a beat. Think we came, the bass will knock you off when you see. Just that beat. I bet you we be moving your feet. Boys kinda mellow, place from the ghetto. You still want some more? Go and get the fucking seat. When your days get lonely, when your nights get cold, when the rain starts pouring, when your man ain't home, you can call me baby, you can let me know, you ain't got no let me go to back door, your back door. When he walks out the door, when he act like he don't want you no more, you can do the same thing. You can play at this game. With his love, it's a forward. Doing his chores, might as well be with me.
gets cold. When the rain starts pouring, when your man ain't home, you can call me baby, you can let me know, you ain't scared to lay, let me in the back door, your back door. He ain't never so changed. He still be playing the game. You can do the same thing. Girl, I won't say a thing. If you don't tell, I won't tell. We live in life, what the hell? We both want the same thing. Ain't no need to complain. When your day gets long, your day gets long, gets lonely. When your nights get cold, when the rain starts pouring, when your man ain't home, you can call me baby, you can let me know, you ain't scared down the lane, let me in the back door, your back door. When your days get long, the days get lonely. When your nights get cold, when the rain starts pouring, when your man ain't home, you can call me baby, you can let me know, you ain't had none lately, let me in your back door, oh, when your days get lonely, when your nights get cold, when the rain starts pouring, when your man ain't home, you can call me baby, you can let me know, you ain't scared down the lane, let me in the back door, your back door.
We done lost one. What time is it? And now that I know the game, please pay attention, they do get them respect. 1 out of 3 got the third of them bang. The other motherfuckers, they be slanging that hang. Always out for money, cause the money's the game. Side homie, it's the Long Beach thing. You heard me right, nigga, this is DPG. With the Superwoman standing claiming CPT.
I'm a DPG. From the top to my hands in the streets. Recognize pain and they recognize me. Cause a G like me comes naturally. So haters try to hate on me, but they got no choice but to survive by me. There's no failure to God in me. Cause my G's and the streets gon' ride for me. I promise you the ghetto thing. Cause I'm the closest thing to ghetto. play it so late, and they just fascinate. Cause gangsters on every day, so make sure that you keep G-A-N-G-S-T. And now that I know you can, I'm not sure that I'm
Versus running $150, trying to get large enough, man, to get Britney. I'ma do Britney like Bobby did Whitney. Fuck a whole life off, donate my kidneys. Wake up to vodka, crash with the whiskey. My name holding too much weight, you can't lift me. Came from a freestyle ghetto with King Tipsy. Hold a torch over my city, you can't miss me. Niggas say fuck me, but can't fuck with me. Twist this shit, make your fingertips sticky. I need me a wifey, shit, I mean wifey. I'm so fucked up I couldn't be my own wife. Clash of the type, yeah, no propaganda.
Yeah, I got a couple of
T-shirt and khakis, trucks and bandanas. Living amongst the most scandalous on the planet.
Cause gangsters on every day, so make sure that you keep it G-A-N-G-S-T. And now that I know you can, I'll make sure that I keep it G-A-N-G-S-T. Cause gangsters on every day, make sure that you
hullabaloo.
G-S-T. And now that I know you can, I'll make sure that I keep it G-A-N-G-S-T.
I pledge allegiance to all my homies who have never loved a hoe and never will. I give my body and I give my soul to the funk. May the funk never end.
I don't do that. Ooh, I don't like them spooky things. That is actually. This could be it.
I pledge allegiance to all my homies who may never love the whole and never I give my body and I give my soul to the cause. May the cause never end. I pledge allegiance to the face of change.
Oh shit.
The hustler who pays for the cage. Peace and blessings.
Yes.
May the sun always shine on you. I'm serving paper. See you later. I guess that's what will take. I can't be baby.
Where's sweetie?
You can test me. Get this consolidated. Ain't no question I'm gon' fuck with this. I do it for the funk of it. I pledge allegiance to all my homies who may never love the whole and never go. through. I said the siege is still stuck. Game cause it got me falling. Game don't wait, so I'm not stalling. I'm still dissing, she's still calling.
See, this is front line, no turning back now. I'm about to score, this is war on the track now. Give me my vest and my ammo and my max now. I'm about to spit it, Lord, I'ma get it in the worst way. Slay, competition, move the opposition, back, wake the fuck up. Cause when I get beyond enemy lines, I might snipe that ass like John Kennedy's mine. Thou shalt not get caught, that's the remedy. Disinfect on wounds with my last bottle of Hennessy. Bleed to let the seeds remember my memories. Chill to be killed here, son, that's the penalty. Ride for the front, ride for the front. In the heat of the night, I die for the front. Pharaoh, when I'm 6 feet deep, there's no breathing. Salute the noblest truth and pledge allegiance to
I pledge allegiance to all my homies who may never love the home and ever I give my body to keep gangsta, but I give my soul. I pledge allegiance to the game cause it got me falling. Game don't wait, so I'm not stalling. I'm still dancing, she's still calling. I pledge allegiance to all my homies who may never love the home and
You wanna go out somewhere. I got stick on your backside. Twice a baby. You go down, you get.
Come on. Dance with me, baby.
Is it righteous, righteous? We make it righteous. Get it right, righteous, righteous.
Come on. Dance with me, baby girl. Dance with me, baby girl.
dancing, prancing, laughing, bouncing, swinging, moving, grooving. Cause the music's booming, macking, trying to get some action, acting, manish, drinking, tweaking, winking, beating, singing. A drink for the evening, really, feeling way too horny, freaking. From the weed I'm choking, smoking real dope and open. My night's wide open, knowing that my girl's at home and snoring, boring, ignoring, warning that my girl was coming, sunning, mood interruption, busting. My girl's in the club, bring it on. We want that judgment, bring it on. I'm getting it, bring it on. She said this way like lightning, bring it on. I'm not trying to be young and down. Crazy on my head. Top speed for the exit. Damn it. Down piece can't grab it. Have it. Like chasing my cabbage. Magic. Time to disappear fast. This shit. Who I slept last week with real tricks. I like her cause she real slick. Let's dip. I don't care who you came with. No lip. Got no time for the bullshit she with. Now she all in the back mid. Time spent. Now it's time to hit the pavement. 2 cents. Got no time for your comments. No slip. You know where my girl went. Bring it on. The woman that just been sighted. Bring it on. I was getting it, she wasn't invited. Bring it on. Said this way like lightning. Bring it on.
This ever happened to you?
I'm not trying to be young and down.
In the club knowing I ain't even supposed to be drinking with a girl all close to me. I'm all up in the air, telling her some super fly shit she need to hear. Thinking can't nobody see us cause we in the rear. All I'm trying to do is get a number, then I'm up out of here. Cause my girl ain't home, she out with her friends. It'll be just my luck, this the spot they in. Not the place for her to spot me in, you know. Especially when I'm supposed to be at the studio. I take one step, what do I see? My girl coming through the door, but she don't see me. Now I'm ducking, now I'm dodging, hide, praying to God that she don't come find me. What was I thinking of? Should've never parked my car in front of the club. Damn.
Bring it on. The woman that just been
shut up. Ain't no damn song. What's it mean? What's it mean? Fucking thing, get out of the way. I can't stand that sound neither. Non-driving individuals, hazmat, nigga. I want my nickel platter. Now hop to hibbity. Hop to.
You're mine, my bitch. You're the
bad talk. Sit down.
I had a
My turn, about to be my turn.
Should have heard them all, same old song. I made her throw her back out, then I sent her home.
It's too much information.
For better or for worse, you're mine, my bitch, your love, my trick, her mouth, my dick, I love.
Work with me, people.
Straight down, no shit, gave me your chip. I drove your whip, it's true, don't trip.
What's my name? My name is Mr. Game. West Coast big change, Mr. Fame. Bad bitch, scoop you up, the same old same. Fucking in the driver's seat while I'm switching lanes. Getting brain, Long Beach, Compton thing. Shit ain't changed since I we do the damn thing. Rolls down, let's clap. Watch this 5 a.m. Who's to blame? I'm the reason use magnums to sing the range. And watch you bounced out with me before you came.
Where's the last thing? Ain't that
Take a back shit, my nuts is drained. Everything, this shit shooting over cane. Have a bitch waiting, bus stop in the rain. Simple as plain, the squeeze be off the chain. My nigga Nate Dogg, hit game, please explain.
No, I got the roll. I got the Ghosts. Why they bouncing and shit?
Creeping out the back door, coming to meet me. At the honeycomb, honeycomb, drinking, trying to please me. Now the real players keep playing on things, playing on, keep playing on, ladies playing on, keep playing on, ladies playing on, keep playing on, ladies playing on, keep playing on. Your mind is my bitch. Your love, my tree. Your body, my bitch. Your love, my trick. Her mouth, my dick. I love, that's it. Straight down, no shit. Gave me your chip. I drove your whip. It's true, don't trip.
Yeah, nigga, it's time to take them back to 86. Gangsta shit running the world. All across the motherfucking USA, punk. Yeah, please believe that, nigga. Dog Pound Gangsta. Big Nate Dogg. Nate D, double OG, punk. Yeah, Corrupt Young Guy. Yeah, now we gotta show you how you do it.
Ain't nobody do you like we do.
Yeah, nigga, make the world go round.
Ain't nobody home, ain't nobody do you like we do.
Oh, yeah, nigga. For the gangsters, this from penitentiary gangsters on the worldwide hunt for head hunting, spread dumping, lead busting. Tell me how you wanna be done. It's so many things on the street, gang bang on the street, heat holders, that hug with slugs. That's the thing to be the Crips of blood. They show these niggas how it was, and how nobody do it like we does. Cause nigga,
Something about the West Coast makes me bang the beat. Something about the West Coast makes me run them streets. Something about the music makes me wanna sing. Something about this chronic knocks me off my feet. That's real chronic, baby. Can't nobody do you like we do.
now we gotta show you how to West
Ain't
Coast rock.
nobody home, can't nobody do you like we do. Oh, I know you never thought these niggas could be this good. We be bumping in your system from hood to hood. I know you never even thought we would last this long. You were dead wrong. Homie, this is Dave, he's a double OT. All up in the place, yeah, you are your BT. You better ask your girl why she's staring at me. Leave me alone.
Leave a gangster alone, bitch. Yeah. Calico, you ready for the get down? You ready to have a sit down? Bitch, nigga, sit down. Running in and out, y'all. Running in and out your spouse. Don't say shit out. Running in and out your mouth. Thanks to get the party cracking. Hit Atlanta, get a crump. Nate Dogg, you corrupt. Yeah, nigga, that's what's up. Now I gotta show you how to West Coast rock shit. Concoct the fly shit. Dog found options.
Can't nobody do you like we do. Ain't nobody home, can't nobody do you like we do. Oh,
Big GGC, greatest on the surf. Gangsta diamonds for shoot before you convert. Go against the grain and we convert to the worst. Take flight like eagles, function like needles. Touch it without even being present. Yeah, the greatest on the surf, West Coast present. The dog found motherfucking gangsters, nigga. On all gold feet, yeah, them all gold feet with double OG.
about the West Coast makes me bang the beat. Something about the West Coast makes me run them streets. Something about the music makes me wanna sing. Something about this chronic knocks me off my feet. That's real chronic, baby. Can't nobody do you like we do. Ain't nobody home, can't nobody do you like we do. Oh, can't nobody do you like we do. Ain't nobody home, can't nobody do you like we do.
Didn't say the pastor was going to save your soul.
Another short story. When he be acting bad, don't he make you mad? Wanna kick your ass, but
She ain't no good and bad to bad. Another sad story. She constantly says she adores me. Girl, I'm a dog and love don't live here anymore. Another short story. Oh yeah, her love was beginning for me. Doesn't take long for my love to fade. Another sad story. Oh yeah, I only call when I'm horny, but she acts like we kid all day. It's a quarter past midnight. Don't it make you mad you can't find his ass? 7 hours passed since he called you last. Only to you he can do so wrong. Funny how time flies.
Say, in 2001, Carlos had sex with his 10,000 times. Then she claimed she was pregnant with his baby. Carlos says when the child was 5, he asked for a DNA test, but the defendant refused and then disappeared. Carlos has not seen the child in 10 years, so he petitioned the court today for a DNA test. Defendant Janelle Arias
already gave you the
insists today is the first time Carlos has ever asked for a DNA test. And the only reason he wants one is because he was served with child support papers.
Another sad story. This girl was so soft and so lovely. I cannot stay 'cause she is too strong. Oh yeah, keep my eye on my Monday. Everything else is just fine. Someone else to make her pay. Oh no, another short story. Her love was beginning for me. Doesn't take long for my love to fade. Another sad story. Oh yeah, I only call when I'm horny, but she acts like we did all day. Another short story. Already gave you a warning.
But don't feel either afraid of that or worried about that, because the whole world will soon be catching you as we get into the time of catastrophes and plagues. And I'm not saying that to frighten you, because I think probably the time frightens you all.
I'm from the jungle with the concrete streets. You don't wanna rumble with the real OGs. Man, I planted like a chronic seed, and your girl done ran away with me. I can show you how to catch these streets. I can show you how to beat these streets. I can show you how to crack that thing. Let me show you how to break that thing. Ain't a damn thing changed. Still rolling on day to day. Still banging, still blaming DPG. I always keep my thing. Always got weed on my brain. Always gotta be with me. I'm gonna bless your cocoa. I'm gonna ball till I fall. Keep it gangsta just for all of y'all. Be what you want me to be. They
A-P-O-double-G. Banging from the west to the east. I'm from the jungle with the concrete streets. You don't wanna rumble with the real OGs. Man, I'm acting like a chronic seed. And your girl done ran away with me. I can show you how to catch these streets. I can show you how to beat these streets. I can show you how to crack that thing. Let me show you how to break that thing. No need to fight it, baby. I know you want it, lady. I can tell by the way you watch me. Oh, I like the way that you walk. I like the way that you talk. Ooh, what that accent does to me. Yeah, I still play 213. Yeah, I still play DPG. Everything stupid Warren G. Yeah, I got hoes that love me. Got gangsters banging my beat. I got hoes from here to overseas. I'm from the jungle with the concrete streets. You don't wanna rumble with the real OGs. Man, I'm acting like a chronic seed. And your girl done ran away with me. I can show you how to catch these streets. I can show you how to beat these streets. I can show you how to crack that thing. Let me show you how to break that thing. I need a gangster lady, one from around the way. I need a girl that likes to play every day. She said her friend wants to see. She said her friend is nasty. I say you get your friend and come right away. I'm from the jungle with the concrete streets. You don't wanna rumble with the real OGs. Man, I'm acting like a chronic seed. And your girl done ran away with me. I can show you how to catch these streets. I can show you how to beat these streets. I can show you how to crack that thing. Let me show you how to break that thing. I'm from the jungle with the concrete streets. You don't wanna rumble with the real OGs. Man, I'm acting like a chronic seed. And your girl done ran away with me. I can show you how to catch these streets. I can show you how to beat these streets. I can show you how to crack that thing. Let me show you how to break that thing. Let me show you the road slope when she be missing. Gonna smoke it some endo, keep it pimpin'. Niggas playing that hate game, we keep it pimpin'. Niggas moving that weight, man, we keep it pimpin'. Bitches shaking that thing, man, we keep it pimpin'. That one coming with me, man. I got love for my niggas who be watching my back. No, I ain't got love for those who play them games. You can check my gangsta file. I've been putting in work since 1985. Got an angel by my side. But my demons always begging me to ride. Ever since uncles had rages, looters had bitches. Damn, get more gums than baby pictures. Menages with sisters, things popping out like shrimp. Lobster, 8-5, so garage full of sixes. What can I say? If something don't smell right, what can I spray? Tech 9 incense, say for instance, see you in the distance. Hit 'em in an instant. We so crummy, counting more money, but stay strapped up like crash test dummy. 3 to your tummy, 2 to your throat, and bulletproof cars we ride like the Pope. Just in case.
days. You don't make it home, you better super glue, grip the phone. If you was talking that yap and got put to bed, now it's a frog in your throat like Miss Piggy giving head.
I'm a real P.I.M.P. And I love the way the ladies shake that thing. I'm a real G.A.N.G. And the haters know this golf round gangsta gang. Nigga, you can't fuck with me. From the jump I told you I cannot be fake. Never been no mystery. Never took no shit and always got my thing.
The moon that. And if I'm accepting Christ in my life, why would I be mourning? What do I have to be sad about? This is the bullshit talking about bullshit that has held us as a people back.
Preach, preach, preach.
Yeah, this is what holding you back.
Nate, there's a
No pastor,
Fred Rest.
no preacher, no
The pieces of the
teacher,
vessel.
no
Ladies
pastor,
like sex like I know I
to say no.
Holla at me.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Give it to him, dog.
Homies, you make just like I do.
Get your money, dog.
This one's for you.
For shot, for shot. Yeah, got the freak on it. Freak on it. Yeah, I speak on it. Last week on it. Snoop Dogg double G. I'm on the mic, go on it. You want it? Here we go again, about to flow again. Yeah, cause I'm about to bust a hoe again. Got the flow again. Throw it in. Mix it, cook it. Gumbo, jumbo. It just don't quit. Get them chips, mac that bitch. Keep it on the under, make them wonder. Do it with no blunder. Snoopy be goes up when she gets the job done. No matter what they say about me, they doubt me, they can't fuck with the deal. Yes, indeed, that's I. Because I do what you think I guess I.
Ladies who like sex like I do.
Sex like I do.
I'm having out on
Give it to them, dog.
Homie, you make sex like I do.
Just poppin', still hit droppin'. Coming strong just as long as the beat knockin'. Looking at the clock, won't you know good now? Everybody just coming out of the hood now. Red kids go on the deuce way. Show the crankin', see what Snoop say. The Kool-Aid dancing in the parking lot. And I'm pulling down pieces off the top of God's shine. These rhymes candy Pam, Maisha, Tisha, Sandra, and so man, close the door. We walk out, we roll it hard.
All through the night, better hit it all day. Every girl in the car gonna get the same way. Say you wanna turn me on when you get it next way. Wanna share it with your friends, just a minute, three-way. Fuck what he said, all the ladies.
You that much.
Get your money, man. Do I like it? Yes. Do I mean it? No. Let me hook this double finger real quick. I love it. Pussy always make my day flow smooth. If I don't give me the line, fuck the fast food. Back off a jack off a far from playing games. We some pimps, punk bitch. No need to explain. Now look at the little mama right there. She screams, suck dick, and she don't even care. Man, I'm all about breaking these hoes, shaking these hoes, making trick, take off the clothes, shoot it in her nose, running big with jingling toes. Man,
damn song.
I got rolls, cunt, love cock, and cock, love cunt. I be feeling like the sex in my front. Hey, Casey, where Tracy at? She said that she in the front, washing up the light. Jumped in my shit, hit the switch, start smashing. Headed to another spot, just off my ass. All my niggas like doing a damn thing. Have to beat it up like my nigga Booty Tang. Hell yeah, I love sex. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm like, yeah. With my dick goes hard. Churxh to them hoes that you fucking shit on.
Ladies who like sex like I do. Come to come on.
Give it to him, dog.
Homie, you make sex like I do.
Get your money, man.
Ladies who like sex like her. What you say, dog? Holla at it. Give it to her, dog. Money, money, Say it, brother. Say it, brother. That's right. Say it, brother. Yeah.
Didn't say that the moaning back. And if I'm accepting Christ in my life, why would I be mourning? What do I have to be sad about? This is the bullshit from the bullshit that has held us as a people back.
Hey, OG,
This is what
could you tell me how to find some good things?
no pastor,
I need it on me, oh, so bad.
no apostle,
Bad,
power
I
to
get
save your soul.
Babe,
Holla back, young.
so deep.
That is the
I can't even feel my feet.
Yo, black blue.
Girl, so fine. I can't help it, got to make this one mine. I hit him with my bang, Sterling. AK7, make my music for me. Music and me. Music and me. Music and me. Music. My music and me. Time must change, but the music will remain the same. I hit him with the music from the slave. Oh my goodness, what my ancestors gave. I don't want you to think I don't know. They taught me how to preach deep down and touch the soul. Without my music, where would I be? You taught me how to cry and still remain a G. You keep a lot of soldiers at ease, and together the next level we'll see. My music and me, and me, music and me, music and me, music and me, my music and me, music and me, go together, perfect harmony. Soft and mellow, oh so hard to make your speakers explode. Stay with me, and together we will live out this dream. The music and me, music and me, music and me.
Nate Dogg, make that beat, what we want, Young Gotti.
Okay, that's right.
baby.
With the D-O-double-G, 3-4 bubblies, 3-4 dubs of trees, shaky eyes, B-low double G's, hit 3-4 clubs and breathe the 3-flow double trees. Don't speak to these hoes publicly, D-low rubber knees, C-O's double D's. Don't know what these bros struggle with, but these roll double B's, please don't slow the squeeze. Told you I'm a rider, but you could thank the green for the gangster lean. When I roll through in a rider, you looking at a coast to coast G. I got love, but I still stash the toaster closely. We bailing on police rides, cause Nate got some sticky so strong you can smell it on the east side. Please believe it, please. You gon' see arms come out like sleeveless tees.
I got love for my homies who be rolling with me. Play no game, play no games. Ain't nobody playing with me. I got love for my niggas on my family tree. I got love from the ghetto, down for whatever. Down before me, you want me down before.
Format your doormat. Stomp and stampede on the feet like doormat. Yeah, contraceptive. Unload and get swallowed like antiseptic. Step up and accept it. You wanna see the shell shit? Wiggle your thoughts will make the bottom of your head slip like the slip dip. Twin, bust the boy Bobby. Stocking all y'all is a hobby. Got homies rounding in the lobby. Automatic attacks automatically cause tragedies. They catastrophe suckers.
I got love.
And all the homies round up, throw the pound up, rub out to show you how to strut like what? Pros. They adore me. I keep all the pros looking for me alive to tell their story. And I am who I be. Young guys, struck out and synopsis, slots, lean.
Say, Captain, say, look her cause she hanging on me. She can't hang, I ain't looking for a wifey, just in case. Just in case, I gotta take a walk with me. In this world, down for whatever.
For Chuck Taylors and Converse, come in, let's converse. I mean, where you heard those words?
I got blood.
My niggas put in hard work, 24 hours, the packs go like
I got blood.
Crips and Bloods, chicks who slit your mugs, same bitches that strip and bug. For half these dudes spitting, other half don't live it. See, I talk about it, I did it. Play Brutus, pop on your ass, reach for my spinach. You see how I'm eating. Y'all children, I'm more original, more lyrical, plus dog.
I got love.
For fans waving their hands, repeating my sentence, my time's now, eat when I sing. Well, you oppose no threat. Got your chick hollering brat.
I got love. I got fame, cause the game was given to me. Say my name, say my name, cause ain't nobody tighter than me. Give it up, give it up. You like the way I'm rocking this beat? I don't know, no, nothing better. Chasing my cheddar, I love it or more. You ain't never listened to me.
Supposed to do, they'll make a way. And if they don't make a way, I'll go to their conscience, which all of us will go one time or another anyway. But our world, our planet, our continents are plagued right now with all kinds of potential possibilities. Will happen. There's a double name almost for this presentation. I really don't want to call it a lecture because we're going to cover so many subjects. Iriola and Sister Nma will definitely be able to sell this one because even though I understand what I'm doing, time is getting short and it becomes harder and harder to hold back. And when an audience does come out, is supportive, and they pay well, and I appreciate all of that, I want to do my part. So we're going to cover, even though the title of it is Earthquakes, Hurricanes, Prophecies, and You. And the subtitle will be The Coming Catastrophes, Can We Survive Them? Or God-made, man-made catastrophes, Will We Be Alive in 2000? So you can get all kinds of different names for it. I don't know which one to call it because as I do research, as I do study, as I have the helpfulness of the Creator to unlock more and more things that used to be mysteries, the titles become almost inconsequential. The subject matter becomes very paramount.
That's what happens.
As you
when ice cube starts to flow. Red hot lava mixed with saliva, pulverizing everything in its wake. Nothing can survive a pyroclastic flow, and no one will survive this one.
You've probably seen, how many of you bought any of my tapes before?
Alice.
I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can see my eyes, and you can see my eyes. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can tell my heart, and you can tell my heart. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can see my eyes, and you can see my eyes. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can tell my heart, and you can tell my heart.
I got my ropes on. The pheromones. Women love it when they see me on that motorcycle. Niggas hate it cause they know I'm making more than Michael. Been ballin' since the word ballin' played out. They brought it back to describe me in that Maybach. Me and Jeezy rollin' with our low song. Smoking something good, fucking up the ozone.
I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can see my eyes, and you can see my eyes. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can tell my heart, and you can tell my heart. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can see my eyes, and you can see my eyes. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can tell my heart, and you can tell my heart. Bring me a $1.50.
What's the fit you bag?
Nah, baby, not really. Sister, yeah, the chopper's just silly when it's busting at your head. Me is laughing at you, really. I got my love song, Dickies on. Keep the working niggas on. Keep the Cassie Vickies on. Yeah, she keep them Dickies on. Keep my love song. See you hating motherfuckers. Keep my love song. You know they mess my brakes up. I got my love song. I got my ropes on. And you can see my eyes, and you can see my eyes. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can tell my heart, and you can tell my heart. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can see my eyes, and you can see my eyes. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can tell my heart, and you can tell my heart.
I got my lopes on cause my eyes are burning me. And when I get home, I don't want the third degree. The third is B. Urgently, these niggas wanna murder me. They scared of the consequences coming from my defenses. It ain't that expensive. Have your ass hopping fences. Lucky motherfucker, missed your ass by some inches. Next time, understand what you fucking with is legendary status. Sitting behind these glasses, nigga.
I got my ropes on, yeah. I got my ropes on. And you can see my eyes, no. And you can see my eyes, no. I got my ropes on, yeah. I got my ropes on, yeah. And you can tell my heart, and you can tell my heart. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can see my eyes, and you can see my eyes. I got my ropes on, I got my ropes on. And you can tell my heart, and you can tell my heart.
There are 7 known wonders of the world. You about to witness the 8th, motherfucker. I got King Kong in my trunk, King Kong in my doors. My nuts play ping pong from the noise. You can hear me from a block away. I'm sitting next to your ass and can't hear what you got to say. My shit is loud, my ears is ringing, my paint job is wet, my chrome is combing. I feel like a vet balling on these rookies. Old school bully, you must have played hooky. I bring it like a bookie, my aggression is depressing. Don't give a motherfucker time to learn this lesson. A lunatic, y'all know what I represent. The only rapper wanna fist fight the president. take a nation of niggas to hold us back. It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. When I bang this, it's dangerous. Niggas go brainless. So bang this with a 4-5 stainless. And understand that you looking at the famous West Coast rapper who act like a heinous. Hollywood, they thought they can tame this pit bull. But I know what the game is. Them fuckers cheat like an NBA rep. If you smoke one, they'll electrocute you to death. I got God on my intellect. Godzilla by the neck. When a nigga come through, who you wanna holler at? Ghost Riders hit the deck. When your boy got a text, where the fuck is Africa? Damn by the act. We need to take it back. Walk by time, clear channel and Radio 1. You motherfuckers programmed by the programmers. That's why you getting locked up by the dope slammers, not me. It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. They music so fluffy, I'ma stay gutter. That shit is kinda popcorn, my shit is so butter. My style never changed in 22 summers. Straight independent and doing my numbers. This shit don't sell, you know I'm still paid. So side puss niggas can drink lemonade. I'm doing it for the love, you doing it because you need that advancement to spend on them dubs. I don't need a penny, but I need many. Don't worry about my money, boy, cause I got plenty. You motherfuckers worry about fucking so much. You don't know the fundamentals, you forgot how to brush. These 32 teeth will give your ass grief. Bite you like a fat burger, eat got beef. So who's it gonna be? Your favorite MC. You scared of the government, they scared of me. Now what? It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. It take a nation of niggas to hold us back. It take a nation of niggas in streets of crack.
So young, so angry. Damn that rap music.
Blame me. You niggas know my pyroclastic flow. You niggas know my pyroclastic flow. You niggas know my pyroclastic flow. It's R-A-W. You're looking at the Grand Wizard, Warlord, vocal cords so vicious. And I don't have to show riches to pull off with some bad bitches. And it ain't about chivalry, it's about dope lyrics and delivery. It's about my persona. Ain't nothing like a man that can do what he wanna. Ain't nothing like a man that you knew on the corner. Seen come up and fuck up the owner. Seen throw up West Side California. Nigga, I'm hot as Phoenix, Arizona. I'm Utah, I got multiple bitches. It's a new law. Keep a hold of your riches, dumb nigga, don't spend it. As soon as you get it and recognize I'm a captain, you a lieutenant. I can say what I wanna say, ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it. If I call you a nigga, ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it. I can act like an animal, ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it. If I eat you like a cannibal, ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it. I'm raw as a dirty needle, choke an eagle, just to feed all my people. Lyrically, I'm so lethal, plant thoughts in their mind just to defeat you. Ice Cube is a saga, y'all spit saliva and I spit lava. I got the fearless flow, don't get near this hoe if you scared to go. I keep it gangster, and why should I change that? Fuck you old motherfuckers trying to change rap. Say what? But ain't you the same cat that sat back when they brought cocaine back? Say what? You trying to get me a Maybach. How you motherfuckers gonna tell me don't say that? You the ones that we learned it from. I heard nigga back in 1971. So if I act like a pimp, ain't nothing nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it. If I call you a nappy-headed hoe, ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it. If I shoot up your college, ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it. If I rob you of knowledge, ain't nothing to it. Gangsta rap made me do it.